Before pandemics, kids, and a lack of organisation, a group of us used to go on bothy adventures. 5 years ago, we hit the jackpot with the Scottish weather. This is a trip down memory lane, a retrospective of a very special time.
The trips always started out the same, like giddy school kids let into a shop for the very first time.
What base have you gone for?
Some of them jokers. I've gone so far, I've gone for Pulp Fiction. No, what it's called? Yeah, Pulp Fiction, Punk IPA, and then some random Guinness one.
And these are all private buys?
These are all private buys, and I've got more to come. I'm still, I'm still shopping.
This is mental.
Maybe some cider.
Private buy would be something that doesn't go through the communal bill, so the fare isn't being split, and you keep it. You pay for it yourself, and then you either keep it totally private or you declare it and share it with the group, which would be a private buy gone communal. You can't go communal into private, that would just be stealing.
So let's say my brother Neil, for example, bought a 6-pack of Dukers and he announced everyone that they were private buy. Well, that meant that they were financed by him and for his consumption only.
You got evidence of me? I remember once I put a pair of socks through, and
through the communal?
Yeah.
Oh no, that's terrible.
I remember the landing was quite adventurous because we had to get everything from the main road across that body of water on the little dinghy. There in no time.
Oh, actually, and because we travelled to it under our own steam in this little green boat that Neil and I had strapped to the roof of our car, and then just put it across to the Bothy, and then it gave us that freedom as well to do sort of extra exploring around.
Let's get this shit together then.
Just get the fire going.
Cheers. Yes. Nice.
Made it to Peanmeanach. Massive tent set.
I think it's Neil's personality, he likes to be organised.
It's 2 people filming at once. That's just
What are you doing, Neil?
organising stuff. Sorting out all the food.
Organising the booze.
Yeah.
I am Brewski, Magnus, Peanuts.
Look at all the booze. Oh, what's this rubbish already?
You video me, I video you. Not got the memory, can't compete. Right guys, welcome down to Peanmeanach Bothy. Going a pretty standard design. From the left fire, a few benches, a few workstations, usual paraphernalia, outdoor activities, and in here we have a slightly smaller room but probably suitable for 2 to 4 people, sleeping bunks, nice fire, 2 fires in this body that work, nice view out to the bay there, and just going upstairs. Probably, I guess you probably get about 10, 12 people in there.
Brotherhood, you know, that you kind of join when you're there, and then, you know, you're locked away from the rest of the world, and then, you know, you rejoin the rest of the world and you stink. That's what I'd say about it.
So it's not Campfire in general waste to the right though. It's definitely not.
Just an early dinner and wasted by what time is it? 6 o'clock.
Chef is chef because for some unknown reason he ended up taking on the chefing responsibilities probably on one trip, or maybe on the first night of the first trip, and it just sort of stuck with him, and now he seems to sort of do meal plans and just does all the chefing now.
He doesn't do meal plans.
It's probably spaghetti bolognese and a empty water bottle.
You got bit of herbs, spices.
Have you got homemade tomato sauce, or what do you use?
Yeah, homemade.
Is it
tomatoes from the allotment?
Is this the homemade stuff over here?
No, mate, I don't know who brought that, but no, not
you won't
into
be
that.
using that, will you?
Nah.
Yeah, where are the sambas?
Oh, too much on it.
Yeah!
That.
Got it. Click on. Oh, I know. Oh no! Yeah. Done very well.
It had a bit of everything. It had a beach in front of it, other good beaches close by, the little islands offshore, and then behind it was those lochs for doing a little bit of trout fishing. So it had a little bit of everything.
Going to the island. There it is.
It wasn't a very big island from what I remember, and I seem to remember it had kind of a low-lying bit in the middle with a sort of stony beach, and then so we all kind of split up and went and tried to find good spots on different parts of the island.
Just gonna cook up all the fish that I caught.
Oh yeah.
The big fish that I caught. Just there's only one.
How big was it?
Actually, well, Phil caught like a little one.
Took it in turns to ferry people to the island and then sea fished off that. And I think people were getting pollocks, but then I got the impression people didn't really want to eat the pollock, or
You prepared one, remember, with lemon on the beach, on the stony beach.
It just tasted shit, didn't it?
Remember when Stuart, he chucked that frisbee into the sea and had to wedge it himself?
That was silly. Don't know why I would have done that. I got a bit carried away with the frisbee.
I don't want to get them wet. Get in there.
Take through it.
Sort it.
Take through it.
Long. You might get it on that rock over there. Just wait. The longer you wait, the longer it's going to. Shut up. Making it worse.
You have to put it the other side of it. Oh, that's what you do.
Oh, he nails it.
I think also there's like an expectation in the Bothy that you're going to meet characters, right? That's sort of part of the deal. So as long as people are, like sort of warm and welcoming, then it's like it's part of the experience, isn't it? That you'll meet strangers and they'll be like perhaps offer you like a bit of a whiskey or a beer, and that's sort of part of the charm of the whole experience. Had a barbecue and then came back to the Bothy, and it was just like a beautiful clear sky
Olive oil
night, or a bit less sanitized, so people might be having a few beers or might like smell a bit because they haven't washed, but that will be part of the sort of like rich sort of fabric of the whole experience, and it's something that people quite like about it.
Ah, no!
That's fine. That's fine.
Ruined it.
More courgette.
Drop the courgette and fine.
more courgette drops. Save it.
Do you know, it's a strange one. I don't know. There's like a kind of homeliness to it. Like you kind of know what's coming, and it's like you kind of you shut yourselves off from the rest of the world. Like no phones, no internet, no outside communications, and then it's just like five guys in a dark room, drinking beers and playing games. You know, it's like a you disconnect from everywhere else. I think that's what I would say about it. And fishing each day is, it's a little mission we adventure, and fishing's brilliant. It's so good. I think you get kind of tuned into each other and the activities, and things like making dinner and making breakfast and catching the fish, filleting the fish, and all that sort of stuff. Well, Neil filleting the fish, and there's kind of like togetherness to it, and you don't want the outside world to kind of, I guess, break that when you're there. I quite like that element of it.
Tatty scones.
Tatty scones, got beer can and egg, and then we've got a beautiful day. Peanmeanach Bothy.
I think also a lot of those characters that we've met, they're sort of allowed to be characters in those environments, aren't they? Like, they're all a bit maverick. I mean, that guy Rob, what was his story was that his friend had just died. One of his best friends had just died in London, but then he was brought on this trip by that outdoorsy friend who was his boss.
Private suntan time.
Bring it up, mate.
On video. Let's go. Not private suntan.
Someone's
actually.
got the spade.
Hello?
Someone's away off to. Someone's off to jobby.
I think the weather always plays a big part in a trip, so that always sort of, let's say, clouds your opinion of it, but it definitely probably sticks in your mind more if the weather was good.
I do remember the boat out to that wee island that was like, I say like wee island, it was like that kind of 50 metre by 50 metre island, like out in the middle of the ocean there, that was probably a good mile from shore.
The weather was great, and it might have been our last day, it was towards the end of the trip, I think, and we'd kind of earmarked to try and explore the islands a little bit. There was these 2 or 3 islands, maybe, I don't know, half a mile or so away from the Bothy. Because we had the boat, we were able to do that. So we did a bit of fishing from the boat, if I remember rightly, first of all. Don't remember if we caught anything, but we went and landed on the island.
The big day where we went fishing off the island, you guys, I think, went out in the boat fishing, then we went to that beach and played football and lifted a creel and all that. Just that was an incredible day, that day.
Because we had the boat, we were able to do that. So we did a bit of fishing from the boat, if I remember rightly, first of all. Don't remember if we caught anything, but we went and landed on the islands, and it was quite rough going on the island. We had quite a good tramp up over the top. Was there forts or something? There was old, not ruins, but was there not old evidence of old forts or something up the top?
But yeah, I mean that beach, it was amazing actually. It was the hottest weather of the summer, and we happened to have a little kind of boat to get us from island to island.
That was probably off one of the best sort of Bothy days ever, wasn't it? Where we went fishing and then went to that white sand beach, spent the afternoon playing football on the beach.
I remember football, that was good fun. We got quite competitive. I'm pretty sure I got hit in the face at one point.
You were raging because like I body checked you. Like I thought you ran into me and you thought I had run into you. Rage. I think it was Ian.
It was Ian.
And Neil was in goal.
I remember that, yeah. I remember there's that epic photo you took where I was like scoring the winning goal with an absolute peach of a shot right into the bottom corner that no one would have believed happened if you hadn't had a picture of it.
It was. I mean, I guess that's one of the great parts of of going to a bothy like that is you do meet people and you kind of get on reasonably well with them, then you can share experiences like that.
Unconventional characters, but in that environment of, you know, they can sort of really be themselves, and it really they really sort of shine as like personalities or something, or people really appreciate their eccentricity in that environment of like a bothy around the bonfire. It's sort of like anything goes in the bothy, socializing.
We were cooking the lobster, and then there was great. There was some good. It was a good campfire cuisine experience, I would say.
Obviously, we had the guacamole with the Mexican themed dinner. But yeah, it's funny that sort of like how like in the bothy, like how people occupy themselves.
Gonna put the rice water on. You got anything new for this year?
Guacamole, mate.
What's in the guacamole?
Just avocado.
I never thought for a second that we would really get anything in it, let alone a lobster.
Yeah, Neil had creoles, didn't he? So we had yeah, that's right. I've forgotten about that. That was definitely a highlight.
So we used to do one night would be spaghetti bolognese, one night we would do Mexican, and then one night we would do like a one-pot wonder.
And I also remember on this specific trip to Peanmeanach, Ian devised a really clever way for storing food. He dug an underground fridge.
We had a crate of carling left, and I'd read before we went there that you could make a fridge by digging a hole in the ground and then leaving the beers or whatever cans in the ground, there, covering them up with a plastic bag and then burying them. And if you go down deep enough, the temperature of the earth goes lower, and it lowers it enough that it doesn't freeze and the ground's not frozen, but it'll cool the beers. So I remember digging a big hole with the poo shovel, and like cleaning that off and being like, "There's no poo on it, guys. It's fine."
I remember just thinking, because I think Stuart said, "Oh, Ian made this really clever fridge," and I was like, "What?" All I remember from that was thinking he was an absolute moron. That aren't even.
Dead points on the board. Yes. He never lied, did he?
You're all sitting around the table. You've all got a cup that you are like a shaker, a dice shaker that you use to shake your dice in. So everybody shakes, and the noise is like, you got this loud noise of all these dice getting shaken in the cups, and then everyone puts their cup down on the table, and you have a peek to see what your dice are, and then you're also in your head you're trying to remember how many other dice there are in play.
Crudo just got better and better the more you drank, which doesn't always work with games, does it?
It's done it. Oh! Game of Bruno, yeah. Not the fucking best. That was brilliant. That was absolutely brilliant. Oh. Fair play.
It's just got so many good elements to it. There's a kind of show to it with the kind of rattling the cups, and then the revelation that people are trying to like scam you and like make things up, and then there's like a kind of tension, I guess, that builds up as the game goes on, and people are more outlandish. And I think as people drink more, the moves they're willing to make, get a bit more outlandish.
You basically take it in turns to say, like how many of a certain number of dice you think there are in play on the table. And then it gets to a point where maybe it's gotten so crazy, the numbers have gotten so crazy, so then they're going to say, I doubt it. They're basically saying, nah, that's not, I don't believe that. And so at that point, then everyone shows what dice they have and what numbers they have.
It's like, also, I think it was one of those games where people you'd get good for a little bit. Maybe where you'd had like a few drinks and you'd get cocky, and then you become quite a good judge of sort of when to stick and when to twist, but then you drink too much and sort of the person who was the top of the chain falls to the bottom and someone else has their time. So it would be everyone had their time to shine in an evening. I was sort of always in the middle, and then Neil was pretty consistent, wasn't he? He would just pick up, he would never sort of go to the top and never to the bottom, but he'd be sort of consistently quite efficient, quite good.
Efficiently getting on with it, just probably applying processes and procedures in his head.
But by the end of the night, he would probably be top of the table. Whereas someone like Ian and Stuart would sort of like have a blazing moment of glory and then burn out and sort of fall back down.
Exactly.
Oh, there's a psychological element to it. I think you start to understand the psychology of the other players.
Slamsies, was that when you did your shaking in your cup and you slamsied it down on the table? The more sewers that have been consumed, the more violent the slamsy got.
Slamsy, and then remember at a certain time of night, if it was like more other people maybe in the bothy, you'd have to say no slamsies and put in a piece of tissue in the cup.
It's usually focused on fishing. We did have one day where we walked kind of inland up to some lochs, but I don't remember the fishing being amazing there.
No, it wasn't.
It was more a kind of, I say a beach holiday, but it was more kind of about the location, I think, wasn't it? In the sort of social side of it, it was a slightly different trip compared to some of the other ones, actually.
Here we go. Here it is.
Ian is so bad at fishing because he's too noisy around the loch. He's like chatting away and laughing and joking, which is great, but basically he scares all the fish away.
And I remember when I was having particularly bad times, you know, and maybe other bits of life, like with work and stuff, those trips were a total, like, godsend, because I just literally cut everything else out and just escape it for like 4 days.
Yeah, that's probably the word, escape. I would say that's the word I would say about it. It's an escape from any responsibility other than feeding yourself and drinking beer at night and playing games. You know, it's quite nice to just, you know, it's not real life. It's so like disconnected, and the disconnection's what makes it so great, I think.
Hopefully you've enjoyed watching our former selves enjoy being with each other, out in the wilderness, enjoying bothy life, not a care in the world, as Ian says there, just a simple existence, the best of times.
Give it to me.
As the final boat set sail back to the mainland, we left the bothy behind with hearts full and memories rich. From fishing in the lochs to playing footy on the beach, every moment was a testament to the bond we share. In the embrace of the Scottish wilds, we found not just nature's beauty, but the joy of each other's company. Until the next journey and the next adventure, these moments will echo in our minds, a reminder of the simple yet profound joys of the friendship we shared and still do share, and the love of the great outdoors.